England's Euro 2024 campaign is about to kick off. Forget Gareth Southgate. The lost in possession boys have got you covered for a starting 11. Today, we are going through our ideal starting 11 for the first game against Serbia. As always, make sure you stay tuned and make sure you put in the comments who you think would be a better starting 11. Let's kick things off, as always, in goal. Probably going to agree on this one. Jordan Pickford in goal. Any disagreements?
Absolutely not. I think for England, he's been superb. He can lose his head at times and get sort of, bored. But I think for England, he's normally always switched on. Touch wood, just to make sure he's, I'm not gonna repeat my words here.
Reese, any disagreements? I assume not.
No.
Cool. Let's crack on to the defence, where we might disagree. Jamie, we'll come to you. Read us off your back four and explain why and who's in what position.
Okay. Walker right back, Stones, Guy. Then I've given two names. Shaw if he's fit. If he's not fit, then Trippier. Walker, I think you tell him to stay back and he will be the pace that we need at the back to sort of mop up any sort of, rapid players. You're talking your Mbappe's, your Lukaku's. I know we're playing Serbia first, but still, for just that pace, you've got to keep him in. Stones is our best centre-back and I think our best defender overall. Guy, I think, looks very good and I think he's the best of the rest. And then Shaw is technically our only proper left back. And I think Trippier can fill in for him there if Shaw's not fit to play.
If Shaw is fit, just to jump in,
yeah,
obviously he's coming back from an injury. So would it, even if he is fit, is it worth that gamble of starting him and then re-injuring it?
No, give him minutes. Give him some minutes, give him like the last 20 minutes. Hopefully we're, 2-0, 3-0 up or something along them lines. Don't chuck him in for 90 minutes. We've got plenty of more games to play, at least two more kind of thing. So yeah, that's my back four.
Cool. Reese, over to you. Any disagreements?
Not really. I did go for Gomez instead of Guy, just because I think for the first game, I think it just helps to have someone who's been there. These Serbian strikers are nasty. These are big fellas, Mitrovic and Vlahovic as well. They're big fellas, and I think Gomez handles that quite well. I think he's a bit taller, a little bit more physical, versatile as well, so he can help out where needed. I've gone for that. If Shaw is fit, then he's a no-brainer, but I understand he won't. So I think Trippier will cause problems for him with some, some set pieces. But yeah, I just went for Joe Gomez. I think the physicality side of it might just give him that little edge against these strikers and just help calm any nerves for a first game. Because you can't afford really to lose your first game. So
yeah, fair. So in terms of my defence, I said it earlier, I've gone a bit rogue. So before everyone starts slamming their keyboards, hear me out, because this is a tactical masterclass. So left back, I'd go Trippier regardless. As I said, if Shaw's fit, I don't think he's fit enough to start. So just leave him for now. So Trippier left back. Stones obviously is the left centre back. Where I've gone rogue is on these other two positions. So I would actually have Kyle Walker as the centre back next to Stones. And then what I'd have is Trent as the right back. But I'd basically have, similar to how City have done, similar to how we did at the end of the season, is basically have Trent as the inverted right back. So when we're attacking, he obviously sits in the midfield next to Rice. And as we've seen in the couple of friendlies, we know how good Trent can be in that midfield role. Stones and Walker together, obviously, FIFA Ultimate Team, they've got that chemistry at City already, playing together. And also Kyle Walker as a back three, with Trent going into midfield, basically becomes the right back anyway. He's got pace, he's got strength, as you said, Reece, to deal with the Serbian strikers. And I actually think that's solid. And I think Walker could do that job. and then obviously naturally Trent gets back when we're defending. So yeah, a bit rogue, but with the rest of my team, as you'll see, I actually think this could really work.
A bit. What I want to say is, in our squad, we have so many centre backs, and you've picked a right back to go centre back. Just
it's Walker.
I understand where you're coming from for an attacking point of view, and I get what you're saying with it, but I don't know. I think it sounds better and works better probably in your ultimate team than in real life, especially with probably Southgate wanting to be a bit more probably defensive minded, considering not as good defensively.
But he's done it. But you've got to bear in mind with what I suggested. He's done it at City, right? Stones and Walker have done that at City. I know Stones is the guy actually going in, so that might be a bit confusing. But Walker knows how to play that system. Gurhey probably doesn't. Dunk definitely doesn't. And Gomez, I don't think does really either. So I don't know. I'm still backing it. I do think it could work. Particularly, definitely worth trialing in the group stages where you're not going to get as exposed. But yeah, let's move on to the midfield. Jamie, we'll come back to you. Probably 2 are nailed on for most people. What have you gone for?
So it's Rice and Bellingham. There's no, there's nothing that's not going to put these two in it. I don't think we've got the quality in midfield or the experience for the others at the moment. And then I'm going to play as my number 10, Phil Foden. I think you tell him to be more on the right-hand side of the midfield three and Bellingham on the left. And that's how I'd kind of set up that midfield three. So Foden can cut inside and have them shots like he kind of trademarked this season, near edge of the box, left foot, go for the top corner of the far side. You want him doing that. That's where he's going to shine for this England team. So yeah, Rice, Bellingham, Foden.
Reece, what did you go for?
Yeah, I didn't disagree. I thought maybe if you wanted to put Foden on the wing instead, and you could put Eze in that centre midfield role because he's like that as well. I think it could work. But yeah, I think either or between them two in that position is just fine.
What, Eze over Palmer?
I would say currently, yes. I think Palmer would be better off more attacking midfield than a central midfield role.
See, I think if you're not going to put Foden in that 10, Bellingham has to be the 10. That's kind of how I would see it. Obviously, you're saying Eze. I think that would be a bit rogue, but
you could put Eze, like I said, put Eze on the wing and swap him with Foden, as long as it depends on how the game's going and how you want to do it, I suppose. But just sort of a left field option.
So I've gone a bit different. So I've gone, and again, this is kind of based on the whole Trent inverting into midfield. So Rice obviously is the CDM. Again, bear in mind he'd have a bit of backup with Trent, and then I've gone 2 more attacking midfielders. So essentially, my formation would, well, you can call it a 4-3-3, but it'd be a 4-1-2-3 if you like. You've got Palmer and Bellingham as the 2 central players, or whatever you want to call them, the 2 number 10s if you like, and then obviously a bit more attacking formation, but again in the group stages, you're at less risk of exposure. You've then got Trent in theory in my formation into midfield defensively as well. So yeah, that's who I'd go. Again, Foden, yes, could do the 10 and has done well. But obviously we'll get onto the strikers, but I think we'll get onto the attackers. But even if you put him on the left or the right, he's going to come in anyway. So I think Palmer and Bellingham in there, I think works.
Do you feel like you're probably too attacking, or are you saying this is only for the group stages? Because let's say we play France, we're going to get abused by playing that French team with how attacking you've gone.
Yeah.
Find what you're saying. Playing Serbia, playing Slovenia, and to an extent Denmark, but when you're playing the top teams, I don't know if you've gone a bit too gun-ho, if you see what I mean.
So this kind of ties into my point I said last week that I do think in this tournament we should try and play to our strengths, which is attack. And Southgate's got to find a way. There's a debate between maybe Saka and Palmer on the right, or Bellingham and Palmer in the middle, or Foden and Eze on the left, whatever, or Foden in the middle. I think you've got to find a way to get attacking wise as many of these players who are at the peak of their powers and had a brilliant season. Saka, Foden, Palmer, Bellingham. You just got to find a way to get them in the team. And I think with this formation, yes, it's very attacking, but I think it would work. And then obviously we're still picking a lineup for the first game, right? So depending on how it goes, I then think you could experiment, and if we are a bit open, maybe tweak it around for the knockouts. But best form of attack is defense. The other way around. Best form of defense is attack, something like that. So yeah, attack the opposition, go and attack France and expose them. So let's move on to the front three. I guess based on our formations, it may become obvious, but Reece, we'll come back to you. Who is your front three and why?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is with the England team is it is as versatile as strength and depth we got. I think for the first game is pretty set in stone. I have got Saka, Kane, and then it's a matter of Foden or Eze, depending on what you want to do with them tactically. But Saka and Kane, I think, are the obvious two. Saka does well for England. He's done great for Arsenal. So I think on that side, it makes a lot of sense. Him and Walker as well in that sort of position would be quite interesting. Is always interesting and always good to see. And Kane is obviously our leading marksman for a reason. So if you want to get off to a good start, putting Kane up front in your first game is the most logical move you could ever do. And if we get a nice, comfortable lead, that's when you can start playing around with it and see who you want next.
Yeah, similarly for me, obviously, explain my formation. I'd still go Saka, Kane, Foden on the left, obviously knowing that he is going to tuck in a little bit. But again, if you've got Palmer and Bellingham in there, someone can fill the gap still, even if he comes in a little bit. And obviously, yeah, Kane's a no-brainer. And there's been a bit of a criticism of Saka, but as you said, in an England shirt, he's just so lively, he's so threatening. He still gets in this team.
Yeah, I think there's no debate that Saka should be in this team, really. So I'm going to say Saka, Kane, and I've struggled with the left side. I've gone Foden in the middle. I'm between Gordon and Palmer. My concern with Palmer, having sort of like a three behind Kane of Saka, Foden, Palmer, is they're all a bit samey. And in my opinion, at the moment in time, Palmer's the third in the pecking order for that. So I'm going to go with Gordon just for his bit of pace. I think that's something we do. Like from what we're saying here, we don't have tons of. So I'm going to put Gordon as my left winger. So yeah, it'd be Saka, Gordon, Kane up top.
Yeah, I think Gordon's probably my hidden gem in this squad, because if we're losing 1-0 or we're winning 1-0, whatever, those Serbian players are going to tire. And if you know about Anthony Gordon, he just doesn't stop running. So he will run, and he will wear them down. And he performed well against Iceland, let's be honest. So I think he'll run them down. He's a perfect player to bring on in these situations.
Yeah, I still feel like it's rogue, but I do like Gordon, and if he started, if he started first game, I probably would have an issue with it. But like him getting minutes and him being on the pitch, I have absolutely no issue with. And let's just before we wrap up. So obviously England Serbia's the first game. We've gone through our formations. Where do you guys see being the key battles? Obviously we know what Serbia are going to be like: aggressive, break us down, try and basically stop the complete flow of the game. So we know what's coming. In your formations, who do you think is key to winning this game and getting off to a good start?
For me, it'd be Foden. Foden and Saka. Like I said, I'd put Foden towards the side of Saka as well. And I think if them two link up well, no matter who's there in the Serbian team, wouldn't be able to deal with them both. So I think they would be sort of massively key. And then it would be defensively how we deal with set pieces. Sorry, it's defensively, because like Reece said, they're a big physical side, so that's what they're going to be banking on, and I think that could possibly be where we possibly concede. So yeah, set pieces, and I think get Saka and Foden in amongst them, and I don't think they can compete against us.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think we know what Harry Kane is going to do, don't we? We know that. We know he can bag a hat trick if he really wants to. We know what he's there for. I think, yeah, it's those games where if they're keeping it tight and they're going to frustrate us, it's players like Foden who are going to rifle that into the top corner. Trent rifle it into the top corner if he needs to. They're going to be the key moments in the game, and I do agree. I think this is where Foden can really show why he's justified his Player of the Year tag.
Yeah, I think for me, the set pieces, absolutely agree. I think Kane staying forward is something we need to try and watch for. Or again, I know it's hard to take him outside of his sort of natural position, but he does not need to drop deep to get the ball. If you've got, again, vary slightly based on our teams, but looking at my formation, you've got Saka, Palmer, Bellingham, Foden behind him. You do not need to go deep. Like, get in the box, get your head on it, get the goals. Simple as that.
This is where I think my Gordon pick helps Kane, because unfortunately Kane will come too far deep at times. Not the whole game, but there will be one or two moments where we're all stood in the pub going, get forward. Why are you this far back? Yeah. And he could bring a defender out with him, and then Gordon's got that place to run. So that could be sort of like, that's a bit of my reasoning behind picking Gordon as well. But yes, I don't want him coming to get the ball as much as he does normally with the quality we've got behind.
Yeah. Well, that would be a way to get Watkins in the side. I don't see Southgate doing it, but Watkins isn't going to go deep. Watkins will stay forward. Tony absolutely will stay forward. So maybe we'll see some minutes for those boys as well. But look, we've had our say. Now we want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments which of our starting 11s you prefer. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And obviously send your own starting 11s down below. As always, like, comment and subscribe. You know the drill.